Hey everybody, welcome back again. Nice to see you all. I'm just gonna jump right into it. I have my 3-gallon bucket here, and today we're going to make dark sweet cherry wine. Yay! I have all my ingredients laid out here that we're going to need, so you guys can take a wonderful look here. Normally I've always done just 1-gallon recipes, so now we're bumping it up to 3 gallons. I do have a blender here. We are going to be blending these up. I have seen a lot of people have to cook their cherries and de-pit them and do all this stuff, and I'm not about that life. So these are pitted, these are clean, they're thawed out. Just put them in the blender, crush them up, put them in our cheesecloth bag here, and we'll be putting it in the bucket that way instead of having to cook it and do all these extra steps, which I don't want to do. So yeah, moving on. So we always start off with our dry ingredients inside of our bucket. For 1 gallon, this calls for about 3 pounds of sugar. So we're gonna need about 9 pounds of sugar for 3 gallons. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull out this 10-pound bag here of Domino's sugar, and we're gonna dump all of this into the bucket. And this is a 10-pound bag. I'm just going to say the hell with it and put the whole 10 pounds in. Okay, 10 pounds in. Here we go. Okay, so I have my disinfected spoons here. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the acid blend. So this would normally be, if it was a 1 gallon, just a half a teaspoon. So we're going to need 1.5 teaspoons. I have my 1 teaspoon out, and I'm going to be putting that in, stirring it carefully. 1.5 teaspoons. Next thing, I'm going to put in 3 teaspoons of yeast nutrient. So let's go ahead and do that now. 1, 2, and 3. Moving on, we're going to need a little bit of tannin in this. I'm going to head and put a half a teaspoon of tannin. So we're going to put that in. And we're going to do another 1/4 a teaspoon of tannin. Normally you're going to need a campden tablet. 1 campden tablet is for 1 gallon, so we're going to need 3 campden tablets, and we always have to remember to crush them. So here's the 3 campden tablets. I'm going to put them down here in some of this plastic wrap. Use whatever you have closest to you, make sure it's sterilized, and just, you know, crush those tablets up. It doesn't take a lot to do so, just make sure they're finely crushed. Take our crushed campden tablets and put them into the bucket. Last but not least, it's going to be down to the peptic enzyme and the yeast, but we're not going to do that until tomorrow. We always wait 24 hours, let everything settle before we actually put our yeast into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside. Now we're going to get down to the fun stuff. You want to get bottled water. Tap water is not really necessarily something you want to use unless it's the only thing you have. So I have some water over here hiding in the back. You're going to need 3 gallons. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 gallons of water. We have our gallon of water here, and we're just going to pour it into our bucket. Pour it in like I did the other one. Well, I hope you all are having a great day, great weekend, great whatever. If you're not, I'm sorry. I hope it does get better for you. If you're watching this to de-stress, I hope it's de-stressing. I'm going to take this disinfected spoon. I'm just going to stir around those 2 gallons with all the sugar and dry mix. Really going to have to dig and get that sugar off the sides and really move everything around to get everything mobile the way that you need it to be, to really stir up this bucket. So it's finally getting that sugar loosened up and really getting it moving. So now I just want to take this time to kind of get everything to quickly dissolve before we add any more water or fruits or anything like that. All right, everybody, here is the 3rd gallon of water. Longer processes call for longing drinking time, so take a sip if you've got it. Again, we're going to mix up that other water we just did. This whole thing is all about making sure everything is all stirred up and mixed cohesively. cohesively. So I already disinfected it. It's ready to go. And we're gonna go ahead and use our blender here. Now, these dole bags that I have carry 2 pounds each. So you would need, technically, 9 bags of cherries. Now, I'm not going to get rid of the juices that are in here. I believe that they are just gonna be just as good. So I'm gonna go ahead, open this up, and we're gonna dump our cherries into the blender. So this is bag number 2. I don't know how much I can fit inside this blender, but we'll try. Okay, that'll be good. So I just made a really quick thick pulp. It does not have to be completely smoothie-like. We're just getting it broken down just a little bit more. We're gonna go ahead, put this brew bag in the bucket. We're gonna go ahead, pick this up, and pour the contents inside the bag. Just like that. We're just gonna keep repeating this process until we're done with our cherries. I'm gonna let you guys know, this is not a clean process. We have a tad bit of a mess, but that's okay. We're gonna clean up after ourselves. Our last bag of cherries in our brew bag here. I'm gonna clean up a little bit of this mess and I'll be right back. So just give me 2 seconds and 3, 2, 1. No, I'm back. Table's cleaned up just a little bit. Got little pieces of cherry here, but that's gonna be okay. Right here is our big giant bucket. We have poured everything in here into our brew bag. I want to do a public service announcement with you. If you have trouble pouring everything in and you accidentally spill some out of the brew bag, it's gonna be okay, all right? Just learn that whatever is heavy is going to turn into sediment as it ferments and sink to the bottom. When we rack our wines and we take everything out of this bucket, just stay away from the sediment. That's all you have to do. It's okay. These brew bags are just to help you kind of help take care and clean up the mess a little bit easier. So if you get some outside of the bag, it's not the end of the world. Everything's gonna be okay. So here's all the cherries. Oh my God, it's super heavy. Oh boy, okay. That's what it is, full of cherries, and they are nice and chopped up. So we're gonna tie our brew bag here. Everything's gonna stay in the bag. We're gonna make sure we just try as much as we can to push that brew bag down. Get any air that's stuck inside of there. Make sure everything's mixed up. Check the bottom again if you can. Stir it. Make sure everything is definitely well mixed together. This thing came with a thermometer and I have my beaker here. The last thing you want to do is check the gravity of the sugar. As long as we go through this process, you're going to kind of figure out what percentage is your alcohol. So I have my disinfected turkey baster and we're going to go ahead and put this in. Take a sample. Take a little bit more if you need it. I know I do. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, take our gauge here, put it in there, bobber, gauge, whatever you want to put, say it. Okay, so right now, mine is reading almost at the 1 and 1.100 mark. That's what it's reading right now, somewhere around there. But you know, only time will tell. So yeah, this is what it is. And I'm gonna go ahead and dump this out. I don't want to put this back in. We're not contaminating anything. So give me 1 second. So we made it this far into the process and this is it, guys. So we're gonna put our lid on the bucket and you will close that all the way. So we put our airlock on here. We're gonna wait 24 hours and then we're gonna come back. You're gonna need to put 1.5 teaspoons of peptic enzyme in here and then pour in your yeast. Now you can use a Red Star yeast or you can use something, whatever you have. Whatever yeast you have, it will work. You can put the whole packet in here because it's close enough to 5 gallons in my opinion. Thank you so much. It was nice having you guys here. Cheers to you and happy brewing.